Hello viewers. Well, something I've seen a whole bunch of YouTubers talking about recently, and I mentioned very briefly in my blog a couple of weeks ago, is the JXD. There it is, the JXD handheld, and you can see there running PS1 games. Now, I got this earlier this year. I bought this one myself, imported it, and I thought, hey, this is an absolutely fantastic system. You know, it emulates all kinds of systems. Many of what you see behind me I can run on here absolutely perfectly. Everything from, you know, from SNES and NES and Mega Drive to PS1, N64 and Dreamcast can all be run on here with its controls as well. And so I thought I'd make a little video looking at the device more closely. Let's take a look. So, looking at my handheld games from years ago, playing Tetris on the old Game Boy, you can see some of my old handhelds here. Then progressing to the Game Boy Pocket, which I think I have a vibration pack on the back there, back when vibration was the new thing, I believe that was. Maybe a charger actually. And then of course onto the Game Boy Color as well. These have all been packed away for years and years. And of course then you see the Game Gear at the back there as well, and of course my PC Engine GT, playing Final Soldier. Absolutely love that game. The screen was awesome, just a bit small, the screen. If it was a little bit bigger, it'd have been better, but either way, battery munches at the time, it was awesome. But the handheld I liked the most was the Sega Nomad. Playing Streets of Rage 2, it was just a fantastic system. You're playing a handheld Mega Drive. Streets of Rage 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, Virtua Racing in a handheld. And you can see here the switches I got fitted. They're slightly out of focus there, but the switches I'd fitted so you could run games full screen, full speed on the device, but also find the hidden Japanese versions buried within the UK cartridges as well, which was quite interesting to see. And it fitted nicely in my giant hands. So there we are, that was the Sega Nomad, but it was a battery muncher, it has to be said. But of course this today is all about the new JXD handheld we see here. Now this is the one I bought myself. I imported a while ago, and you can see here it's got your headphones socket, it's got your SD card there with 32 gigs, all important, twin analog sticks, controls that work well. There's a big D-pad, but you do get used to it, as well as the buttons on the outside. Everything that you need, and personally I found it relatively comfortable. Kicking off though, it's a racing channel, but you've got to kick off with something on the Mega Drive for me. Sonic, for me, just seeing that it plays really smoothly. It's basically perfect in the way it runs. Well, basically it is absolutely perfect. There's no difference between this and how it would look on your TV, you know, 24 years ago, whatever. And you can see the scan lines. I sort of zoomed in. This is an effect generated by the emulator which I use, the Robert Broglia emulator, which generates those scan lines. And of course now I'm just going to increase the brightness. I had the brightness down initially just to film a bit of that, but I wanted to show you how bright the screen can go, and here we are, full brightness. It's just like a TV. The screen on it is absolutely fantastic, has to be said, but the scan line effect is also perfect. It's just like it was on the TV. It just gives it that authentic retro experience. You can see there. Otherwise it would be nice and clear in HD, and we don't want that. You always want that little effect, just sort of blurs it a little bit. Really well simulated there. Of course the device runs all kinds of emulators, and we can see Mega Drive and Game Boy, you know, it runs Neo Geo. A bit of Thunder Force 4 there in the top corner, a great game. Tetris, Altered Beast, because Altered Beast, rise from your grave. And also then we see other devices here. We've got Game Boy Advance playing Doom, we've got Final Soldier on the PC Engine, we've got Neo Geo and Dreamcast, Ikaruga in the bottom corner there as well, running on the Dreamcast emulator. I haven't had a chance to run all that, but of course this is a racing channel, and there are racing games on every format as well. Ayrton Senna's Monaco Grand Prix, Outrun, Hang On, Virtua Racing, all star games at their time. Virtua Racing was incredible when they brought that out, has to be said. I was blown away by it at the time. The SNES, it's amazing, not so many racing games on the SNES, despite its additional Mode 7 power, but of course F-Zero, an absolute classic. Stunt Race FX, I love. Street Racer, and of course Mario Kart as well. But Stunt Race FX, it has to be said, was incredible for its time, really impressive. Now, as was F-Zero, but of course, talking of F-Zero, floaty racing games, Wipeout. Now I thought we'd go full screen for our Wipeout look. Again, it still amazes me that the PlayStation is working perfectly on a handheld. The PlayStation emulation that I've tried so far on it is perfect. I've not seen any in the ROMs I've tried. I've not had any all the ROMs I own, obviously the real games as well, and I've tried them all and they all work perfectly at the moment. So you see Wipeout here. The camera doesn't quite pick up on it as well as it would do. The screen actually looks a lot better in person. I'm playing this through a viewfinder, so it is quite tricky, but either way it's been immensely enjoyable. To games that push the system a bit harder, Ridge Racer 4 here, Type 4, R4, and of course I imported this from Japan back in '98 with the Jog-Con controller, and I'm hoping to find the 60 frames per second Ridge Racer mode at some point as well, disc if someone's got it, and run that on there because it will look very impressive. You can see all the polygon glitching that we suffered at that time. I have to say this game was absolutely stunning, mind-blowing how good it looked back in '98, and it has an awesome intro. I'll have to put the intro on the channel at some point just because it's awesome. Ridge Racer did have some awesome intros. Zooming in on the screen and you can see how good the screen is, the fact that I can zoom right in on it, but also just how good it looks. You can see there it's basically your PlayStation running full screen. The screen looks a bit more reflective in terms of light than it does in reality. The image just leaps off the screen, and you'll see another video just showing how clear that is looking at Ridge Racer Revolution. So Ridge Racer, absolutely fantastic. As we dive into the tunnel again. So of course PlayStation gaming, it all works. Obviously you're going to need to tinker with the emulators. You know, the PlayStation is a more complex system, finding the BIOS and everything to get everything working. But either way, once you get them working, they are perfect. The system is perfectly capable of running any of it, and it's still something I'm researching at the moment. So N64 as well, very impressive. I mean, when the emulator works, it shows the system has the power. I'll be showing a 60 frames per second video of F-Zero, which does run at the full 60 frames per second perfectly. Very impressive. Wave Race still needs a lot of work. Wipeout needs a lot of work. Diddy Kong Racing seems to work pretty well, but F-Zero, so impressive. I mean, it may as well be a perfect N64 version running in your hand. Really impressive at the moment. The thing they're still working on is fog, which I haven't tried, but apparently that does slow the experience down, but I haven't tried it myself yet. But either way, very clear as well. It's actually clearer than the N64 version, which was very blurry. Always so disappointing, even at the time. The power of the N64 just wasn't what we had been led to believe it would be. It wasn't the Project Reality everyone had hoped for, or the Ultra 64. And of course, Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer Revolution. Stunning. Stunning. Now I'm going to show this Ridge Racer as a separate video as well, but either way you can see the quality of the screen looks fantastic, and I've been having a lot of fun on it. And after everyone's been talking about it recently, I just wanted to share something I've been playing in my spare time and reliving all these old hits, because it's not always handy setting up the system. It's a bit clunky, and so when you've got this as well, you can just chuck it on and play a few of these old games that you haven't played in years. And I haven't played this game in 16 years, so it was good just getting on there and seeing, trying to remember how to play them, essentially. So it is quite a challenge, but I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the JXD. There's also a discount. I spoke to Funstock about stocking it. They've stocked it, and of course we've got a discount which is in the description if you're interested in purchasing one, along with a link to it as well. So do check that out, and if there's anything you'd like to see on the system, do let me know. It's something that I will cover more in the future, and certainly looking at the different emulation or the different titles as I find them. And it may be even the system that I use to demonstrate a few of these older titles as well from time to time, simply due to setting up and logistical areas of hardware. So that's it from me for now on this blog. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the JXD S7800B, and there'll be more from me very soon, and I'll leave you a few moments of this, but of course we'll be putting this up as a separate video in the next few days as well. But that's it for me for now. As ever, more soon.